Some of Ripa's least favorite Live with Kelly and Mark guests are now some of her favorites. Ripa opened up about entering her 25th season on the daytime talk show in an interview with People published on Wednesday, September 3rd. "That's really nutty. Nutty," she said of her longtime TV gig. "Mark Consuelos was saying to me backstage, it doesn't feel like that many seasons. And I go, for you, it hasn't been that many seasons." Ripa made her live debut alongside the late Regis Philbin in 2001. Michael Strahan took over for Philbin in 2012, followed by Ryan Seacrest in 2017. Consuelos has served as his wife's co-host since 2023. Before they hosted Live together, Ripa and Consuelos met while starring on the soap opera All My Children in 1995. They wed in 1996 and went on to welcome 3 kids: Michael, 28, Lola, 24, and Joaquin, 22. While Ripa is a proud mom, she wasn't initially a fan of mixing her family life and work life. "What I didn't realize would become my favorite moments later on, because at the time, they were like anxiety-inducing and sort of I was out of my headspace, but when my kids would come on the show as small children and toddlers and babies, that was so special," she told the outlet. "I have sort of this living diary of their lives." Now that her kids are all grown up, Ripa says that they appreciate how special that time was for them. Ripa and Consuelo's kids have appeared on Live several times over the year, from cooking segments to sit-down interviews to games and more. Ripa and Consuelos are also no strangers to talking about their family on the show. Last month, Ripa teased her husband for already planning for their future grandchildren. "Are we going to spoil the grandkids?" Consuelos asked Ripa, who jokingly replied, "What grandkids are you talking about?" "The theoretical grandkids." Noting that their kids are not ready yet to become parents, Ripa added, "You're always talking about grandkids." He's like, "And then we'll build a bunk room for the grandkids." And I'm like, calm down, chief. They need to have a second date first. While Ripa and Consuelos won't be becoming grandparents anytime soon, they did agree that they will spoil their grandchildren one day. "Of course. Yeah, that's our whole job. But we're not going to go against the parents' rules," Ripa stated. Consuelos went on to joke that he will especially spoil Lola's kids as a way to get back at her for giving him and Ripa a run for our money during her childhood. For more than 2 decades, Ripa has been the heart and soul of Live, carrying the talk show torch from Regis Philbin to Ryan Seacrest, and now alongside her husband, Mark Consuelos. She's charming, witty, and seemingly fearless in front of millions of viewers every morning. But what most fans don't realize is that many of the very moments she now treasures as highlights of her career once filled her with overwhelming anxiety. In a recent reflection, Ripa admitted that the Live format, so unpredictable, so raw, wasn't always her comfort zone. "You're on air with no safety net," she explained. "And the things I was the most nervous about are the very things that ended up becoming my favorite parts of the show." The early jitters. When Ripa first joined Regis in 2001, she was already a seasoned actress from All My Children. But walking onto a set where anything could happen, with no script to fall back on, was a different ballgame. Live television meant gaffes couldn't be edited. Awkward pauses would hang in the air, and unexpected technical glitches could spiral into on-camera chaos. She often describes those early years as a balancing act between holding her own with Regis and staying authentic. "There was this constant voice in my head asking, am I funny enough? Do I belong here? Can I keep up with Regis's quick wit?" she recalled. And yet, those very moments of uncertainty, the ad-libs, the unscripted laughter, the stumbles that turned into inside jokes, became the lifeblood of the show. Comedy in the chaos. Ripa's favorite memories often center around the unpredictability of celebrity guests. There were times when actors refused to play along, athletes arrived grumpy after late-night games, or singers gave one-word answers that left the host scrambling. "In those moments, I thought my heart would leap out of my chest," she admitted. But the comedy of it all was undeniable. You learn to lean into the awkwardness, and that's when magic happens. She now considers these guest mishaps some of the funniest, most authentic episodes she's ever done. Instead of fearing them, She relishes them as reminders that live TV thrives on imperfection. The Halloween Spectaculars. Another example of her anxiety transforming into joy is Lev's annual Halloween extravaganza. Fans adore the elaborate parades of costumes, from pop culture spoofs to satirical political send-ups. But for Ripa, the early years of the Halloween episodes were nightmares in disguise. Wearing 20 pounds of wigs and makeup while trying to read cue cards is terrifying, she joked. I used to dread it because everything could go wrong. Costumes ripping, wigs slipping, even tripping over sets. And yet, when she looks back now, those Halloween specials are among her proudest memories. They showcase not just her willingness to laugh at herself, but also her commitment to entertaining audiences at any cost. Her 2012 impression of Kim Kardashian's wedding gown still circulates on fan pages, and her Beyoncé transformation in 2017 remains a cult favorite. What she once feared as overwhelming chaos became part of her signature legacy. Family in the spotlight. Some of her most cherished and anxiety-filled moments have involved her own family. Having husband Mark Consuelo's guest host long before he became her permanent co-anchor was nerve-wracking. I worried that if we bickered on air or if it got too real, people would judge us, she revealed. But instead, audiences fell in love with their natural chemistry. Their playful banter and occasional disagreements became ratings gold. The same was true when her children were occasionally mentioned or even brought into segments. Sharing personal stories about her family felt vulnerable at first, but those anecdotes connected her to viewers in a deeper, more relatable way. I realized that people didn't want perfection, she said. They wanted authenticity. The things that embarrassed me, like my kids rolling their eyes, were the things people at home related to the most. Growth through vulnerability. Kelly Ripa's journey is proof that anxiety isn't always a sign of weakness. Sometimes it's the spark that fuels unforgettable moments. By embracing the fear of failure, she created television that felt alive, spontaneous, and human. Even after years in the spotlight, she admits the nerves haven't gone away completely. If I ever stop feeling a little anxious before the show, I'll know it's time to hang it up, she confessed. Because that nervous energy is what keeps me sharp and present. Today, when she looks back at her career, it's not the smooth, flawless show she remembers. It's the stumbles, the unpredictable guests, the wild costumes, and the unscripted laughter. Those were the moments I dreaded at the time, she reflected, but they're also the ones I wouldn't trade for anything. The lesson behind the laughter. For fans who've watched Ripa evolve from a nervous newcomer to a daytime icon, her story is more than entertainment. It's a lesson in courage.